It's all eyes on McLaren's Oscar Piastri as the sport returns to the Middle East, with the young Australian needing to bring the fight to teammate Lando Norris and Red Bull's Max Verstappen for the title. The final few flyaway races have seen Norris pull a new higher gear with dominant wins in Mexico and Brazil, while Piastri's deficit ballooned to 24 points after a tough weekend in São Paulo, where he crashed out of the sprint and had a collision in the race that left him fifth. Las Vegas was a chance to reset, but while Piastri would have finished fourth for a 30-point gap, a double McLaren disqualification for excessively worn skid blocks have brought him and Verstappen within 24 points of Norris. The Australian came into the Las Vegas weekend ready for battle, hoping that a scratch card car, unveiled to local fans as a unique competition, would be the only dents on a McLaren.
Vegas is a pretty unique circuit, so we're going to be on our toes. It's not been the easiest of race weekends for us here in the past couple of years, but we've got some learning from the last couple of seasons. So yeah, just try and hit the ground running. We've got some weather around maybe, but no, it's always fun racing in Vegas. It's always unpredictable, so we'll see what we get.
Piastri also knew he couldn't afford to be cautious in Las Vegas, despite that collision in Brazil. And the Australian knows he will have to do the same again in Qatar and Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, important. I need to try and have a good weekend, make up some points in the championship if I can, so I will take some chances out there.
Earlier in the season, Piastri looked nailed on for the title, but now has it all to do across the final 2 rounds for that maiden crown. It all comes down to what happens in the Middle East. Formula One rolled the dice with its annual trip to Las Vegas in 2025, with another loose manhole cover and wild weather adding chaos to the mix. But the luck was with Red Bull's Max Verstappen, whose dreams of a 5th straight title got a significant 2-factor boost via his dominant win on the streets of Sin City, his second in 3 years. And a crucial non-score from McLaren, whose cars were disqualified for excessive skid block wear, providing yet another twist in the title race. The stewards ruled on wear, no more than 260 micrometers beyond legal, despite McLaren arguing mitigating circumstances existed in that there was additional and unexpected porpoising at this event, limited opportunity to test due to the weather on day 1, and shortened practice sessions. McLaren's loss, though, was also Mercedes' gain, as the sanction handed the Silver Arrows its first double podium since Canada, with George Russell up to 2nd and his Mercedes teammate Andrea Kimi Antonelli lifted onto the podium in 3rd. Despite a 5-second time penalty for a jump start that only became clear in slow-motion replay, so small was the indiscretion. But the stewards ruled that, although the movement was slight, consistent with previous start incidents, the minimum penalty of 5 seconds was applied. Ferrari struggled, with both drivers on fightback after a dismal qualifying. Charles Leclerc failed to make the projected podium in his initially swashbuckling run from 9th on the grid to 4th, while Lewis Hamilton went from last to 8th, with their combined score less than rivals Red Bull and Mercedes. Williams celebrated sole scorer Carlos Sainz's 5th place after Alex Albon was retired following radio breakdown and lap 1 damage. Racing Bull's Isaac Hadjar had another solid weekend run to 6th. Nico Hülkenberg delivered for Sauber in its 3rd last race as the privateer squad, with 6 points for 7th. His 3rd score from the last 4 races, as the squad seeks to overhaul rival Aston Martin ahead. Haas scored double points for the 4th time in 2025, with Esteban Ocon 9th ahead of Oliver Behrman, who again showed his star qualities with a lightning start that took him from 14th to 7th on the opening lap before he dropped back as faster cars passed him. Just 15 cars were classified, with Gabriel Bortoleto and Lance Stroll out on the opening lap, after the Brazilian braked extremely late at the start, earning a 5-place grid penalty for Qatar. To the drivers' standings, and McLaren's Lando Norris still leads, though Verstappen is now equal to Oscar Piastri's haul on 366 points. Just 24 the gap with 2 races remaining. Onto the constructors, where Mercedes is now 40 points ahead of its rival Red Bull, with Ferrari 53 points adrift of the runner-up place it covets. Just 5 points separates Haas and Sauber. Formula One returns to the Middle East this week for the first time since April's triple header that saw the sport traverse from Japan to Bahrain and Saudi Arabia in as many weeks. The latest visit is just as frantic, with Qatar the second leg of a final triple header that began with the last race in Las Vegas and ends next week in UAE capital Abu Dhabi for F1's traditional season finale. Qatar, which is located on a desert peninsula that extends northward from its much larger Arabian counterpart, is primed for tourism, with options for shopping, sightseeing, water sports out in the Gulf, and sport, with racing the big draw at its high-tech Lusail International Circuit, which has hosted MotoGP's season opener under lights in all but 1 year since 2007, with its first event in 2004. Its other headline series are the World Endurance Championship and F1, with Qatar initially a 2021 stopgap to replace the cancelled Japanese Grand Prix.
That was an incredible moment where we have seen the vision of the Qatari Federation to be part of the F1 family. And from that moment, of course, we were talking about the future and the step versus the future of thinking what has been announced, a strong partnership for the future, was very, very short and immediate.
F1's president and CEO Stefano Domenicali also praised the facilities at the track and the potential for some great racing.
It will be a night race, and that will be, I'm sure, terrific, because as you can imagine, it's the first time that Formula One is coming here. No one has tested, no tire testing. So there will be, I'm sure, starting from the first moment, a lot of action on the track. And we can, and I'm sure, as I said, having another exciting race for this season.
Red Bull top gun Max Verstappen has won the last 2 straight races in Qatar, and he'll need to win again, or at least be ahead of both McLarens for a chance at a 5th straight title. Qatar's event is one of the hottest on the calendar, along with Singapore, and 2025's edition may see a repeat of 2023's toughest ever race, which saw flat-out blasts between mandated 18-lap stints after Pirelli discovered the track's pyramid curbs caused a microscopic separation in the sidewall. Many drivers struggled to finish the race. For this year, 25-lap limits have been placed on each set, given analysis of 2024's tires, where several, particularly the left front, had reached the maximum wear level. Located around 30 minutes drive from Doha, Qatar's state-of-the-art 5.4-kilometer Lusail circuit has 16 turns, 6 left and 10 right, with a top speed of 345 kilometers per hour. Lando Norris reset the lap record for McLaren on the sports visit last year. There's just one DRS activation zone on the circuit's 1-kilometer-long main straight. Tough, hot, and fast. It's time for another duel in the Qatari desert. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.